Okay, we're going to look at the Find Papers workflow now. It's under the tools right here on the menu to the left. It says Find Papers. And then let's put our research question in here that we've been using. So, to what extent can students explicitly reported confidence be predicted from their point splitting behavior during an individual readiness assurance test? And you can paste in the question that you've been using for your practice and then click this arrow. And then this is similar to what the research report does, but it's not giving you an actual research report. So it'll still narrow down the sources. It'll look at all the papers and then look at the top 50 for your topic and then give you the top 10 that are most related to your question. If you want, you can load more. Click load more papers. It'll give you 10 more. Now it says 20 up here. You can load more, get to 30. But 10 should be okay just for your purposes. Now let's look at these filters that we can sort by. So this one, you can sort by relevancy, recency, and citations. Don't worry too much about recency and citations. We'll look at those more with the next tool called Research Rabbit. We're just using Elicit to look for the best seed paper or the paper that will have the best connection to our topic. As far as content goes, you just want to make sure it really relates to your question, but recency and citations we can worry about a little bit more in the next tool. This search filter isn't super helpful on its own. If you go to filters down here and use abstract keywords, that can be really helpful. This abstract does not contain is good if you find that the computer and the AI is often misunderstanding your question. So if you are studying confidence and point splitting, and the computer thinks you're talking about self-confidence and self-esteem, and it gives you papers on that, that's when you would use this tool. It does not contain self-esteem or mental health or anything like that. You can adjust publication date, journal quality, study type. You can say, give me only meta-analyses or give me only systematic reviews. You can also click this has PDF if you want to be able to have full access to your seed paper and download it to your computer. That's when you would use this. But again, we're just trying to get a good general idea. You can select certain papers that you want and save them to a library. If you go over here to edit columns, you can toggle specific aspects of your research question on or off. So you can say, I really need papers that are talking about point splitting behavior, or I really want to focus on confidence measurement. So it'll just analyze your question and then pull out key aspects and then allows you to filter by them. You can also add a new column. So you click at Add New right here. Say I wanted to look at correlation versus causation. Then I could say, tell me if the findings were causational or correlational. And then for answer structure, you can say, give me specific answers, give me a yes, no, maybe. We'll just keep it any for this example. And then it'll add a column right here that gives you the answer for each of those papers. So for this one, the findings were primarily correlational as they showed a significant correlation between confidence ratings and test scores, but did not establish causation. For this one, the findings were primarily causational as they suggest that seeking corrective feedback causes a positive impact on students' confidence outcome category in subsequent attempts. So go ahead and pause the video right here and try adding your own column, something that would be relevant to your research question, or this summary column. It's pretty much the same format for any research question you ask. You can go in here and edit it if you want to. So you can see it'll tell you the main finding of the source, the strength of the evidence, and the methodology. So right here it summarizes the main idea. Students' confidence ratings correlate with average test scores, but not with readiness for individual tests. And then it tells you kind of how or where that got that information based on a study of 90 students. Just like the research report, it has these little stars and it tells you where in the paper, the abstract, that it got that information. You can toggle the side panel if you only want to see the columns. You can also share this search with other people. This is sort of like the feature that ChatGPT has where you can share your chat. This just allows other people to see your search and the sources that you found. If we toggle this back on and click back, this chat with paper tools is also really helpful. This is very similar to the chat that you have in the research report workflow. So you can say something like, what are the specific gaps in the literature on splitting behavior that authors have already recommended in their discussion sections. So it can say, hey, there's not a whole lot of information on this, but here are some general gaps that I found the authors have noted. Sometimes it'll even tell you what specifically in your research question you could change so that it could find better sources to answer it. Then we can ask a different question like, can confidence-based scoring systems actually improve learning outcomes, or do they just change test-taking behavior? So this paper chat is really helpful. It's kind of like using ChatGPT or Gemini, but the only sources it's pulling from are the ones that it's found for you in relation to your research question. And we'll use another tool kind of like this called Notebook LM in future videos, but it's good because you know that the information in these answers is being pulled directly from these peer-reviewed sources. If I wanted to look a little bit closer at a source, I would click on it, and then it'll take those columns and put them off to the side here. So it's got the summary and then our correlation versus causation column, and then it'll give you sort of a better, a more in-depth summary of the study. You can add it to your library from here. You can click this source button and it'll take you out of Elicit and directly to the paper. But if this source is one that you really like, you'll copy the DOI and then we'll paste it into Research Rabbit. So I'll hit back right here. Especially because you only get a few free research reports a month, this Find Papers tool is also really powerful and can be used often.